What's happening, everyone? Nick Salzman here. Wanted to give you guys a chance to hear perspective I have on something that we call the Jinn. The Jinn are, they've been recorded all through history in a lot of different ways. You hear a lot about them in the Holy Quran. Sometimes we even see them as what would be considered red-eyed shadow people. There's that phenomenon. I'm sure if you research Google or the internet, you'll find something about it. So what I want to talk about is a little bit about what they are, why they're here, and ultimately how we can help them. Okay, so without a doubt, this is probably going to be one of the more scary entities that people have come across. These are the ones that can get into your dreams. These are the ones that can influence your moods. And these are also the ones that can probably rip stuff off your walls and throw things across the room and, that kind of stuff. So when we get in their presence, usually there's a big sense of fear, or even the phenomenon known as sleep paralysis happens when we're around these things. Okay, so Jinn, what they are they're a different form of consciousness. They're not something that's projected from mental energy. They are different altogether, and they can do some pretty amazing things. They can definitely teleport from different places to other places. They can materialize and dematerialize objects, such as make things disappear and then reappear somewhere else. They can do a lot of different things. They are multi-dimensional. They can definitely jump through certain aspects of our life, from the physical to the dream state, all that good stuff. So they essentially came to this earth before us. They are born of smokeless fire, as I've read and heard about these things. And so we can also see them as a fire elemental, some people will call them. So either way, they are an actual consciousness and something that interacts with us and we can interact with. If you go into different parts of the world, like Afghanistan, Pakistan, you can probably run into people that say, hey, I have a Jinn that can help bring you wealth, or I have a Jinn that can help bring you a lover or a wife, or, all that kind of stuff. And so this is definitely something it's common talk around some parts of the world that there are supernatural beings that can assist us or do things for us, okay? So Jinn are very intelligent. They are very old. And like I said, they can do some pretty amazing things. And this is my belief through working with these things, is I believe once upon a time, people used to go to these things for knowledge because they were really smart and they could hold some keys to unlock some hidden truths within us, okay? But because Jinn do not have a physical body, their electromagnetic field isn't as strong. They also do not have a spark of the divine, Christ spark inside of them. So that means that they are strong, but because we are human, we have a physical body, we have an electromagnetic field, and we have a spark of the divine that sits within us, okay? So what that means is that we bring a little bit more to the table. So they may be strong in their aspect, but we are strong in a different way, okay? So I'm telling you this because somewhere along the line, people found out that they can basically intersect with these things through the use of magic. And they started to be able to trap these things and do other kinds of not so good stuff to them through the use of magic. Okay, so humans with a human body hold dominion over the Jinn through the use of magic. So they can make them go do stuff. We want you to go, harm this person or make their life crap, or, that kind of stuff. People have done these kinds of things to them over time. So what happens is Jinn get polarized with some of these negative intents and these negative memories. And this could be from a very long time ago. And what happens is when they get pulled through for ritual, or they get polarized with these commands to do things that aren't good, it'll makes them stay earthbound and it makes them stuck. And so believe me when I tell you that they don't want to be here with us. They would rather be back in their home dimension, and that they've been stuck in this loop of reincarnation, or actually more like outside the wheel of reincarnation. They've been stuck in limbo with us for quite some time, and they're pretty angry. So naturally, I don't think Jinn are violent, but I do believe, just like with anything, right? I mean, like there's like the pit bull. It's for those people that have pit bulls. They know how much of a good dog they are and how well they are with families and how protected that they are. But we also know that if we don't treat that pit bull good, we beat that pit bull. We do mean things to it, that we can make them very dangerous. Okay, so this is the same thing with the Jinn. They appear dangerous because they've been polarized. They've been treated really bad. And we can do something about it. We can help them, okay? So oftentimes when people start experiencing these things in their dreams, it's because this jinn's trying to reach out. They don't necessarily understand how they come off. I mean, they may be upset, but they don't understand how they look, how we perceive them sometimes, okay? So they can get pretty frustrated being around us and us not being able to help them. There's a couple methods that people would use to talk with the jinn. One of them, the use of a Ouija board. Most of the time when people use a Ouija board, these are the kind of entities that are going to get pulled through. Ouija board is a very old way of doing it. And so because of that, it's a familiar way for them, and that's why they usually show up. The other one is mirror scrying. I know sometimes people, when they have these kinds of things in their house, they get their mirrors ripped off the wall or their mirrors break and that kind of stuff. That's because it has been used as a portal before from somebody, you know, in previous times. That's used mirrors for scrying. If you've never heard of scrying, there's lots of different ways to do it. Some use a crystal, some use a bowl of water, some use a mirror. You can look it up on Google if you like. So these are old methods that the jinn would use to transport back and forth to their dimension. So unfortunately, they get stuck here and they kind of forget, and they're not really sure how to get out. And so they come to us that have the light, which are usually people that have no idea that they're capable of helping these things. People that, you know, are just trying to live their everyday life, and now they have to deal with one of these guys, okay? I'm telling you all this so I can give you guys some background on what these things are, and I believe very misunderstood, okay? So they could be responsible for a lot of different weird phenomena in the house. If you ever captured shadows on a video, the difference between them and human entities most of the time, they kind of look like, you know, like head and shoulders, and there's kind of a, not a definite shape, and they kind of just move like a glob back and forth. Whereas these are a little different. These, it almost reminds me of like a sheet that like blows in the wind. They're like really wispy. They like move around. You can see them kind of whip off the walls and stuff. And so if you're unfamiliar with what they are, but you've seen them before, this can kind of help give you an indication of what it is. Okay, so most of the time when I'm dealing with jinn, it's helping remove them from somebody else's house. So I definitely use like a brass pendulum for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use a crystal one today. So like if I had one in my house, like with here right now, I'm in someone's home and they got one and I want to clear it and I'm there with them. Crystal pendulums work really, really well. This is a smoky quartz believer I got from Patty O'Brien. Thank you so much. This is one of the things that I go to a lot right after I get done with the shop, and sometimes I'm in people's space, you know, doing tattoos and stuff. And so it works really, really good to help clear myself and anything else that's around, okay? So in one of my previous videos, we talked about inducing the ha and the breath and combining ho'oponopono with the breath, okay? So if you're interested in seeing that and break down, that's on my emotional clearing protocol video. Just go back on the channel and find it and watch that for a clear description on how to do it. But we're going to basically start from the top and we're going to work with this jinn, okay? So beings that the jinn, they are not a human entity, okay? They are non-human, so they don't have a higher self like we do. But we can connect with them on a mental level. So what we would ask first is bring in our protection, ask to surround ourselves in the highest light, keep us protected from all negativity. Let only beings that reside in the highest of light be allowed to help us at this time and allow us to repel anything that doesn't serve our highest good health and well-being. So if I have a jinn in my house, I call my protection, then I ask universal knowledge, do I have permission to contact mentally the jinn that's in my house? Do I have permission to make a mental connection with this jinn? Okay, get a yes, ask to proceed. Then I greet them. I say, hello, my name is Nick, and I greet in light, love of the Creator, and I'm here to help. First of all, can you hear me? You'll usually get a yes that they can hear you. Okay. And I say, okay, are you in pain or discomfort at this time? I get a yes. Okay. Then I ask them, would you like for me to remove your pain? And I get a yes. Okay. Then I ask them to please relax, open up, and receive this healing energy. Universal knowledge, I ask that we remove all pain and trauma in this jinn from all lifetimes. Now you see the pendulum is swung out north and south again. Now it means that I'm ready to proceed on to the next one, okay? Universal knowledge, I ask that we remove all negative mental stimuli and neutralize all toxic emotional trauma stored in the bank of memory and energy field of this Jinn from all timelines. Thank you. It's balanced back north and south. I'm ready for the next one. Universal knowledge, I ask that we send nourishing, unconditional love energy to this Jinn. Allow him to feel full, content, and complete once again. Thank you. Now it's north and south again. Okay? We always ask them, do you feel better? And get a yes. And they say, okay, is there anybody else there with you, angry, upset that I'm talking to you? Okay? If you get a yes, tell them you'll be right back and you're going to help them next, and then go repeat the process. But don't forget to come back and help the first one, okay? But with this one, we're getting a no. So I'm going to say, okay, would you like the opportunity to go back to your home dimension? Okay? And we get a yes. Now with Jinn, what I've found that works best is we all have a being of light that's assisted to us, that's assigned to us, usually more than one. So if this is the first time you've ever tried calling on a spirit guide or, guardian angel or something like that, it's okay. You don't have to know exactly who they are. We just have to be open our free will to bring them in. And so I would ask universal knowledge, do I have permission to bring in a being of light that will assist me in helping this Jinn get back to its home dimension? Okay, we can get a yes. Okay, we ask to call them forward. Please join us at this time. First and foremost, we want to be able to thank them for being here. I say thank you for being here and assisting us with this. We are honored by your presence and grateful for you. Okay, can you help us guide this Jinn back to its home dimension? Okay, we get a yes. Okay, now I go back to the Jinn and I say, do you see a being of light there with you? Okay, we get a yes. I say, all right, are they asking you to go with them? Yes. Will you go with them? Yes. We have now aligned with free will. They are willing to go. The guides are here from our free will and their free will. It is all aligned, okay? And now all we have to do is just the simple Ha process again, okay? We say universal knowledge. We ask to surround this Jinn, protect it in the light, and ask that we remove it from this house and all timelines, and ask that we merge it with its home dimension. And once again, it goes back to north and south swing for me. It might go side to side for you. Either way, when it gets to that balanced swing, you know that you're done. Okay? So these things, very misunderstood, but at the same time can be very terrifying. Okay? I just want you to know that if you're having these things in your life, or even you had them in your life at a young age, it's because there's a history that you have with these things. And usually it's from another lifetime. Understand that you have protection. You have a physical body. You have a spark of the divine within you. You bring a lot to the table, no matter how strong or fearsome that these things can be. If you were to race them, it would be like an Olympic athlete lining up next to a 5-year-old. Okay, you bring more to the table. But just remember, our love is what makes us powerful, not our strength. Okay. If you got any questions about this, I'd love to hear them. This is my perspective on how we can help heal these Jinn and help get them on their way. And just understand that if we clear one, just like with earthbound humans, there's a good chance that they may return with another one to have you clear, because they are trying to get out of this wheel of reincarnation. But if you treat them with love and you do the work and they know that you mean well, they will never attack you and they will never attack your family. Okay? Be well. Love you guys. Thank you for being here. And don't forget, we're having fun while we're doing this. Okay.